going to go ahead and I want to make it just a quick introduction and put a plug in for the tech spot and other things we have going on here. And I'll hand things over to Jeff and Karen. If you're in the audience or you watch this post-production, we are rolling out a new voice and new text spot to the symposium. Text AI to 512-865-4065. You see it scrolling across your screens. What that will do is give you information on a mastermind. That'll be either next Thursday or next Friday. I have more details on that. Too much going on right now. But also for the next 30 days after the event, we'll be pushing out AI tips, tricks, information to help keep you engaged, help educate you, and level you up on the use of AI. So this panel, I'm really excited to bring Jeff Ross from Australia and Karen from the Midwest, US. And I'll let you guys take it. And if you guys have the stream running in the background, you might want to minimize that volume so you don't have any echo. So I'm not sure who has that. But might want to try to minimize that. But as the audience or guest, if you guys want, you're able to share out this stream to other your social medias. This is going to be a phenomenal panel. I'm excited. I'm out. Give it to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate you. And Karen, it's good to see you on this call. Hey, thanks for the shout out there for that last panel. Appreciate you.
No problem. Appreciate that.
Cool. So guys, welcome. Thank you very much for saying yes and jumping on to this awesome social selling panel. Just quickly, we've had to have Cole bow out. He's had some major tech glitches just as he's just about to hop on. So it's just the five of us here today. So let's just quickly jump in and do some introductions. So Jonathan Mast, I mean, I've been following you for about 3 or 4 months now, totally geeking out on your ChatGPT prompt Facebook group and absolutely love what you represent for this social selling space. But Jonathan, we'd just love if you could just give us a 60-second elevator pitch and introduce yourself.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here. As you mentioned, I do a lot with AI prompting in particular. My belief is that if businesses learn how to use AI prompts effectively, how to communicate with AI, we can save time, we can increase our profit margins, and we can serve our clients better. And we can do all three at the same time, which is really exciting to me. So I'm excited to talk about social selling. I've got some contrarian ideas on a couple of things and looking forward to the panel discussion.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for jumping on. And Kawan, thank you very much for jumping in and saying yes, man. Like, this guy is the multiple income streams king. Been absolutely following this guy now for the last year and love what you represent for the network marketing industry. And man, just love your personality and the way that you're using AI too, especially in the images space. But just love it if you could give us a 60-second introduction for yourself.
Oh, yes. My name is Kawan May. I'm a successful online entrepreneur, 7-figure earner. I like to utilize AI to be able to maximize what you can get out of, your content marketing and be able to create things that's going to, what I like to call stop the scroll. So when someone's scrolling down your social media, they see it, they're like, oh my God, like, what's that? Or, man, that's creative. That's a cool looking picture, or that's an awesome video, so that's how I like to utilize it. And I also teach people how to, how to monetize with it as well. Like, we live in some good times right now. And a lot of things before where you would have to hire somebody, now you pretty much have AI do away with that middleman. So yeah.
Yeah, amen. I reckon it saved me probably about $20,000 a year using AI and imagery and all the content. It's absolutely brilliant. And Joseph Graham. So I met Joseph there a few months back as well. Had him on it for a masterclass in our Laptop Lifestyle Dads community. Absolutely crushed it. This guy, when it comes to sales, I just love his approach with relationship building, but also know that he's really leveraging AI in the social selling space. And Joseph, I'd love to, give you the mic and introduce yourself to our crowd too.
Awesome, and thank you. And I'll try to do 60 seconds. I'm a podcast host, so it takes a little bit of time. I talk a lot. I've been in sales for 20 years, and AI has helped me shrink the thing down. So I'm a top closer for a Fortune 50 company. I do sales coaching. I run a top 5% podcast, but I use AI to fix grammar and take out the stuff that I don't need to do, like prospecting and reaching out to people, because if I can get to them faster, it's great. And that's what I've been using AI for. That's been a game changer for me. And there's so many cool things coming out. I was just on a call. A guy was talking about AI cameras, AI phones, you name it. There's so much stuff out there. I'm just super excited to be here.
Well, thank you very much for saying yes, for jumping in. And Karen, let's throw the mic over to you. Just do a quick introduction for those of us who don't know who Karen Fox is. I've been following Karen now since our first AI Symposium that we did beginning of this year. Absolutely love the connection that we've had with heart-to-heart conversations. But Karen, over to you.
Well, I'm a speaker, coach, and a total AI geek. I work with organizations that want to develop top-notch leaders and skills over communication to enhance their performance and profits.
Brilliant. Thank you. And myself, I'm a travel influencer, one of the top global recruiters for Dream Trips International. I started using AI for the content marketing space in the social selling arena there about 12 months ago. People started asking me, how am I crushing it in this space? And so 12 months ago, I decided to start the Laptop Lifestyle Dads community. She's positioned myself as an AI social selling mastery coach, and just been now teaching people attraction marketing, how to really develop their personal brand, especially working with network marketers and affiliate marketers in this space. And, getting invited to do cool things like this and host a co-host with Karen, like on an AI Symposium. So, guys, let's dive into it. Thank you very much for jumping in. I am known as the king of dad jokes. So I'll start a dad joke first off for us. So I married my wife for her looks, just not the ones that she gives me these days. It's my favorite one. So I'll kick off there. So, guys, have you got a dad joke that you could share with us quickly before we dive in? No?
Mine are all in my database. Sorry.
Good on you. Good on you. So, guys, let's start with you, Jonathan. So how has AI transformed the landscape of social selling over the past few months? And what do you foresee in the big shift in this space?
Well, I think, the biggest transformation it's made it much easier for me to understand my audience and create content that's of value to them. On the social side, I'm a big believer we need to add value to our audience in order to build our tribe. And AI helps us do that. I can create AI assisted content. And notice I say assisted. It doesn't mean I'm just copying and pasting, but I'm using it to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And it allows me to create content at scale a whole lot faster and be able to add more value to my audience. The more I can add value, the more I can grow that audience. The more people I pull into the top of my funnel, the more ultimately come out the bottom of my funnel as clients. And in that respect, it is just really changed the entire way that I do things and changed our entire model of how we sell.
Brilliant. And what about yourself, Joseph?
I use it for, at first I just used it for grammar, to be honest with you, because it was new and I was just trying it out. I'm like, I have dyslexia, so it's great, but I've used it for like thought ideas. I use something called Copilot as well, where like I can do it in the B2B space, even where I can have it say, hey, write me an email for a sales professional for XYZ company to a director of IT, or XYZ company to a CEO or a CFO, because all of them are going to have different needs and wants. And then, like Jonathan says, I don't just get what it does and leave it. Then I customize it, break it down, make it better, pricing it through 2 or 3 more times so that I can get the perfect email or video or whatever I'm trying to do.
Yep. Love that. And as a fellow person who suffers from dyslexia, I don't suffer, I actually call it my superpower now. I'd say AI has actually saved my marriage, because I used to, wait for my beautiful wife to come home from a hard day work massaging people and say, babe, I need you to edit this. Now we don't have to worry about that argument, and I can just get stuff out a lot faster. So I can totally relate to that. And Kawan, how are you using AI in your social selling space, man? And how do you foresee the next big shift in this space?
I'm using it to create creative content, to get, like I said, to create stop the scroll type of content that people's gonna literally just, oh man, like, this is amazing, or this is unique, or this is original, or this is funny, things like that. I'm a real creative type person, so I like anything that's visual. I like the video aspects of AI. I like the image, like Copilot, but even going deeper with Midjourney and executive consecutive images, but everything looks the same. So I'm just all in when it comes to just anything that's creative, because AI has made it so that now average people can do above average things. And if you already have a creative mind, it just can take it to the next level. So if you don't know how to do things, but you had something you wanted to do, you can do it. But now if you already was kind of like, I was already an artist, so I was already a graphic designer, and then you add AI with that, now you're just taking it to a whole nother level. So since I come from a graphic design background, it just made my life that much easier. Like, see, I design all my own clothing, I design my own stuff, so it made even that easier. Like now, I can create some amazing, you know, pieces for my artwork and things that would have taken forever to do if ever. But I probably had to hire some people for some of the things I create now. You know, so yeah, that's how I use it for sure.
Yeah, I used to be pretty big in the print on demand space there back in 2017, and I just love what people are doing now with AI in that space, and just, you know, being able to pump out a lot more graphic design, you know, shirts and stuff a lot faster. So, Karen, you've got a pretty awesome panel here. What's a really great question that you would love to ask, you know, and you think the audience would love to ask our panel?
Well, I'd like to know if there's a specific example where AI significantly enhanced your digital marketing strategy.
Great question. Jonathan?
Well, absolutely. Again, I'm going to go back to sound like a broken record, but it's really in the content marketing. The ability for us to now be able to target that content to make sure that we're making that helpful content that resonates with the audience, and just what, you know, what Kawan was saying, the ability to stop the scroll. It gives us that ability to do that at scale. And now when I have ideas, instead of going, oh, I got to make a note of that and I'll try to get to it later, and many times I don't ever get to it because I'm too busy. Now with AI, I can literally execute on those as I'm thinking about them, and often faster than I can type the note, I can begin utilizing that content. That allows me to do a lot more A/B testing, allows me to create a lot more content, whether that's written content, whether that's video content, whether it's social media, graphics, doesn't matter. It's also allowed me to create a better brand because I can now create more consistent messaging, more consistent images, and everything else. I see Jeff nodding. You know, most people know when I post stuff, I post a lot of cartoon style images. My wife thinks I'm childish. She's probably right, but I like them, and people have gotten to know me for that. And now you know, probably the most common question I get after how can I help somebody do what I'm doing is, how do you create those images? And that creates a lot of traffic, creates a brand. And that, again, more than anything else, has been what's changed. AI has changed for me. It's speed to implementation.
Very cool.
Okay, Wayne, how about you?
Actually, same. It streamlined a lot. Like, especially I have a YouTube channel as well, and it takes time to come up with keywords that's relevant to the title, and then the description, and then making sure something as simple as it not being too long or being short enough. So even things like that, like now I say, well, give me a title 100 words or less, or even better, you know, 60, 70 characters, because that's ideal for YouTube, you know. But you know how hard it was to really keep things under 60 characters and still come up with an awesome title that's going to really, you know, hit your target market. So little things like that, where you don't have to sit here all day trying to come up with a title. And then after the title, now I got to come up with the perfect description. Now I do it the other way around. I'll come up with a great title because I'm good at that part, and then I'll go to ChatGPT or one of these, you know, models and say, okay, now give me a great YouTube description to go with this title. Add the necessary keywords. Make sure it's at least says the keyword in the description at least X amount of times. And I mean, this alone just been a game changer, and just me being more efficient. Same thing with my graphics. If I was dealing with a client now, before, think about how long it would take. You would make these little drafts. You know, you might have something in your brain. I'm thinking about a cupcake on a mountain. So you draw a cupcake on a mountain, take it to your client. The client goes, not really what I was visioning. Okay, back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board. How about a cupcake on a bicycle? But I mean, it takes time to do that. Now I can go to AI cupcake on a mountain. This kind of colors, this kind of abstract, kind of like Leonardo da Vinci, whatever I'm going for. And then I take that to the client. They can see the vision. Excellent. Let's go with that. And boom, we in the game. We cooking with grease. In some aspects, I can use the actual image I just used. I can upscale it, change it up a little bit, you know, take it into Photoshop, make it my own. And now, boom, client is happy. And if I'm using a generator where they actually give us commercial rights, I didn't even break no laws or anything. I'm in perfect compliance. So for that aspect, it just really, really changed the game. Same thing with my social media. It usually takes me about, you know, anywhere between 15 minutes to 30 minutes to make the perfect post. And now I can have AI do it and streamline it, or just do it all together. Hey, create this. Oh, perfect. You know, again, I'm like with Jonathan. I don't like to just use it as a crutch where it just does 100% the work for me. I don't think we're there yet. We're there in some aspects, but I think where you really shine is we use it to enhance what you're doing, not just take over.
Yeah.
I agree completely. Joseph, how about you?
Yeah, and coming from the podcast world, I've dropped over 190 episodes, and doing reels, which is that social media thing, and taking the time to do all that has been a headache. I actually have an AI program. It gives me 23 to 24 different ones for my average 40-minute podcast. And then I take the ones I like, I address, maybe change up the stuff, and it saves me time. So then I can do, 10, 15 reels for the upcoming show, which before I would be able to maybe do 2 to 3. And then I would have to sit there and listen to it and figure, do I like this part or not? So with that, I've loved that aspect of it. But I do want to piggyback off of what Jonathan had said. I love that you use the cartoons because the human element is always what's going to draw people in and get them to buy into who you are. And that's what we're doing. All we're doing with AI is using it to bring them into our world so we can serve our customers and our clients. And it's just a tool to shorten time. That's kind of what I've been using it for. But I thought that was a different aspect of it because I'm not as creative. I write, and I'm the funny guy. I like writing my own posts, and I'll write them, and I just fix it for grammar, and I do it in one run. That's it. I don't know. I don't overthink it. It's just how my brain works. But with the video and all, because I pop reels so much, it's been a lifesaver. And it was cost me $200. $200, and I have over 10,000 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So are there any specific, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Karen. There you go.
Are there any specific tools that you're using that you think the audience should know about? Jonathan, how
video, I'm sorry. My bad.
No, go ahead, Joseph.
Go ahead, Joseph.
I was just going to say the video Yo AI is the one I use for the podcast. It's simple, it's sweet, and it just takes care of it. There's other ones you can do as well.
Thank you. Hey, Jonathan?
There's a lot of tools, but I guess I'm a bit of a traditionalist, if there's such a thing can exist in AI at the moment, because I know it's not been around that long. I am not a proponent of all these new flashy tools. I've got ADD, I'm an entrepreneur, and every one of them gets me excited. And with rare exception, every time I try one, I go, well, that was a waste of time and money. Because in most cases, they're just they're putting a new skin on top of an AI tool, and they're using the API from ChatGPT most of the time, maybe Gemini, maybe Claude. And in the long run, it takes me longer to work with those tools than it does just to learn how to communicate with the basics. So the tools I use mainly, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Midjourney for graphics. Those 4 tools I'm in all day long, and they do everything that, in my mind, you need to have done.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And what about yourself, Guam?
I think I got too many to name, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
you guys might. So, I mean, there's some cool stuff out there. I agree with Jonathan. There's also some crappy stuff out there. A lot of stuff, most of it's just playing off of the APIs of everybody else. Where I think some companies get things right is, even though they're using API, they streamlined it, though, in some aspects. Like, okay, we know a lot of people have a hard time with the fingers or little things like that. So now there will be a prompt box that says perfect fingers, something like that. So now we alleviated that. But other than that, though, the GOAT's still going to be ChatGPT, of course. And for images, I like Midjourney, but I also like Copilot. If I'm going for more of a cartoon effect, more of something like that. If I don't want to get hit with copyright strikes or like strikes for using something like Bugs Bunny with jewelry on or something like that, Copilot will actually generate it and more times than not. So I do like Copilot. When it comes to music, when it comes to audio, I use 11 Labs for sure, because I feel like that's the best on the market as far as audio goes. Video's getting better every day, guys. If y'all guys go look at my video right now, everybody's asking me how I did the Pixar style cartoon video.
The little G-Moot video. I saw that. That was really cool.
Yeah, so their videos getting good. I know everybody's waiting for Sora, so there's a lot of videos stepped it up. Videos came a long way, and there's a few generators of those too. Like I said, I could be here for a minute talking about all the different tools that I use. Because even when I be making it, they be like, "Come on, how'd you do the video?" I said, "Well, actually, I used this to do this, and I did that to do that, and I did this to do that, and I did that to do that, and it all came together." What you saw?
Yeah. So you use a lot of the tools together to stack them, right?
Exactly. Again.
Another tool to stack it. Yeah.
And that's the creative mind working right there versus I found the one be all one thing. This one thing's gonna do everything. Nah, like this over here is better with lip singing. That over there is better with the vocals. Right here is better with the visuals. This is better just thinking everything together. So I think when you use all the tools, and video is a good one. So I know that's probably one Joseph talk about getting those clips. That's definitely a good one as well. Man, there's a ton, and I'm just excited to see what it's going to be at like a year from now, 2 years, 5 years. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. So I'll come back to that because I really want to look at the future. But I personally love the way it's enhanced us, but also the way that as a brand expert, how it can help us create a memorable brand, like this caffeinated kangaroo. Like I just put to ChatGPT, I wanted to come up with a saying, basically saying I'm excited, I'm fired up, I'm pumped up. And I thought, so I put that sort of that expression into ChatGPT. Then I also gave it the framework for it, and I said, okay, now I want you to come up with something unique that's a bit like an Aussie larrikin, like Steve Irwin, or some of the Aussie icons out there. And I said, now come up with a catchphrase for me to be able to help me to express how I'm excited, something that's unique. And it came up with about 3 different versions. It came up with as I'm as pumped up as a platypus in a pool party. It came up with as I'm as excited as a Tassie devil in a tinny. You can think of a Tasmanian devil in a tin boat going around, spinning around. And the other one it came up with is I'm excited as a caffeinated kangaroo jumping around on a trampoline. So voila, the caffeinated kangaroo was born, and then I was able to take that to Bing and Dali, and I started playing around with some logos, and now we're basically everybody knows the caffeinated kangaroo because that's just part of my brand now, and that's all thanks to AI. Like I probably would have spent close on $1,000 in the past, to try and get a graphic designer to create that for me, whereas I've done that in 30 seconds. And so love how it's just been able to really enhance our creative energy already and make things a lot more streamlined. So yeah, love that. So coming back to, I suppose the future and where we're heading, what do you think about some of the misconceptions about integrating AI into social selling, and how can we overcome these misconceptions and really fully leverage AI's potential? Like for me personally, my tagline is it's AI plus our heart equals our superpower. So, but I'd love to know. So, Jonathan, what do you think some of the misconceptions are, and how can we overcome these?
Well, I think probably the biggest one is that AI is some sort of easy button. It's a silver bullet that's going to do everything. I see questions every day about how can I do this with AI and have it do everything? The answer is you can't. You still need to be involved. AI amplifies skill. It amplifies experience. It doesn't replace it. I'm not a heart surgeon, and I never will be, even with the help of the best AI. And trust me, you don't want me to operate on you. But I'm a great marketer and salesperson, and I can now amplify those skills with AI, and it works better for that. So I think the biggest misconception, first of all, is that it can do everything. The second misconception I see on the sales side all the time is if I talk about writing a blog post or a social post, people are like, oh, you make sure you proofread it, right? And yes, I do. But as soon as we talk about selling, they're like, I want to get an AI bot that closes people and sells people and all that. I'm like, hang on, you won't write a blog post or a social post without proofreading it, and now you want to turn over your entire sales process to a bot? What are you thinking? And that's probably the biggest disconnect I see in my mind. The same people that are adamant, and I'm one of them, that you have to proofread the content that AI creates, and I agree with that. You have to. Are the ones that in many cases are going, I now want an AI sales bot to handle everything for me. And I'm like, you're moving from an incredibly controlled situation for a blog post or social post that you don't trust into an incredibly uncontrolled situation with an AI bot responding to prospects. And you just want to turn it loose and trust it. It's never going to make a mistake. Good luck.
I can see Joseph nodding his head there, totally agreeing with everything that you're saying. So, Joseph, being, in the sales arena, what are some of the misconceptions that you found in this space? But also, another side question there is, like some of the AI tools and automation tools that we have out there can help us automate certain aspects. Trust me, I've tried to automate the whole process 100%. Like Jonathan says, it can't be done. But how have you been able to make yourself a bit more efficient in that sales space? And how have you been able to overcome some of these misconceptions?
Sure, and I'll piggyback off of what Jonathan says. I'll let them do the blog posts with AI, but sales is a human endeavor that we've done for thousands of years, and you need the human touch. I don't think it will ever replace. And here's the other thing, because you mentioned what are people worried about? I don't think it's going to replace people. I think it's going to replace the jobs that really don't need humans to be doing it anymore. So I'll leave that one just hanging out there. On the enhancements, there's so many things you can do with it. It just depends on how much, like you guys mentioned, you want to put into it, how much time and effort, what do you trust? So like email campaigns, I've done stuff with mail merge, but now I have an outreach thing that will send the emails out for me. That's a form of AI. It works out great. When I make phone calls, I use a company called Dialpad. It gives me a summary of the call. So we're talking on Dialpad right now. I would get a summary of everything and it would give me what each one of you said so that I would have a record of it so I don't miss notes. There's little things you can do to shrink time and save you time and effort so that you don't miss things like Jonathan, everyone's been saying about making sure you get everything taken care of. Um, but I think that's the biggest thing that I've been using it for more and more because I do work more in the B2B space. I do social selling online. I train business sales teams. So when I'm talking to people, I'm talking to CEOs, CFOs, and they just want a quick bullet point. So instead of giving them the whole tech thing I would give to an IT director, I literally would be like, shorten this. So what's the key for the CEO? What's the key for the CFO? Because you want to save time with each person and persona you're talking to. And that's where we went back to the selling thing. That's why I'm not letting a bot sell for me. I'll let a bot send out the initial email. I'll let a bot give me a summary. I'll let a bot do different things there. But that last part, that human connection, it's always going to be human to human because without it, sales is energy. In a bot, we haven't figured out how to make a bot make energy yet that I know.
Yeah, yet. Love that. And what about yourself, Kwan?
So I think I agree with what they both said, and I think I kind of think we are getting to a point though where people are going to be losing their jobs, honestly, because some things require human touch, some things don't. Like, why do I need a copywriter for right now? Why do I need a proofreader right now? I don't need a proofreader. Like, what do I need a proofreader for? It's just throwing money out the window, or, you know what I mean? So those type of jobs, I think, are going to disappear. Like, honestly, like people are going to be like, why do I need a ghostwriter? Honestly, you know what I mean? If I can come up with, hey, make this sound like the best-selling author, Dean Koontz, and next thing you know, I got a book. So why do I need a ghostwriter right now? You know what I mean? So I think certain things like that, I think, people don't get ahead of it. They're going to get behind it and it's going to lose out.
That's
I do think that now the smart ones will streamline their business. Like the copywriter will now be a amazing copywriter. You know what I mean? They already knew the fundamentals and they already knew what to look for, the things I didn't know what to look out for, and structure and things. So now it'll make it great. And when they are proofreading AI, it'll do a better job of proofreading where I wouldn't. I'll be looking for basic things to proofread where, is it spelling right? Is the grammar? They'll be like, no, it goes deeper than that. Did it start off with this in a sentence? Because when you start writing a book, it's supposed to start with these first 5 lines. I don't know those things, as a writer. Yeah. The copywriter would. So I do think in that aspect. The other thing is, and I tell people this all the time, I see people using automation on Facebook and stuff like that. And I said, if I can tell you using AI, you're using it wrong. That's fine. If you comment on my post and instantly I go, you used AI to write that, then you missed the whole point, And and you gotta have that human element to it. If you're gonna be using AI, I think that's gonna get better because it's getting smarter and smarter. And when we get to a point where it can just kind of pretty much think on its own, like it doesn't need the human input. It's like, no, I'm thinking on my own based off what I'm looking at, based off of what you're doing, based off what's going on. I don't think we're far from that. Cars are driving themselves, packages are delivering themselves. We're not far from that. Siri is talking to you on the phone. Amazon's listening to you at all times and responding and working with you. So I personally don't feel we're far from that. I do think that's going to be the next step. Misconception, we in the Terminator stage. You know what I mean? Everybody's AI is going to come and blow everybody up. I don't think we're there. But
again, we had a Skynet panel there just earlier on. That was a pretty interesting conversation to go back to. Yeah. But look, I totally agree with you, Kwan. Like I look at this as we're in a revolution, and the best revolution that I can create the parallel for is the industrial versus the agricultural revolution. The tractor, came in and it took the job away from the guy who had the horse and plow, and then all of a sudden we've got tractors, plowing up paddocks around left, right, and center and being more efficient. And I feel like the internet back in the 1990s it created another revolution, and we're in the cusp of seeing something like that as well. And, you're right. People are going to have to go through shifts. It's the whole Blockbuster versus Netflix conversation. And, if you've got your finger on the pulse, you can keep up to the times, and away we go. The other parallel I love to, use is the gold rush. The guys who went mining for the gold, you'll be lucky if you struck it rich. But the guys who made the money in the gold rush were the suppliers and the manufacturers of the tools and the picks. And us guys here now as coaches and social sellers and all that, we can be the manufacturers and the suppliers of these tools and go and support everybody in this space. And and empower and equip a lot of people to go do real cool looking things like create a personal brand. It's very exciting time to be a part of. So Karen, have you got any other awesome questions? We've got about 4 minutes left. Love to, come over to give you the opportunity to ask this awesome panel some more questions.
Sure. One area I do want to cover, though, is when you're writing books, you have to be careful if you're putting them on Amazon, because they have bots that will run through them. And if they are AI generated, they will pull them. So
Facebook started doing the same thing too now.
Okay. So, okay. In a world where AI can generate content and automate interactions, how do you ensure that your marketing strategies keep that human touch?
Great question.
Well, I'll go ahead and jump in first since we're tight on time. I think it's actually a really easy endeavor. You need to train the AI model on your personality, your style, and your tone. That's really all you need to do. By doing that and then helping it to avoid certain words and phrases, you can do an amazing job of making AI not sound like AI, but to sound like you. And I think that's so incredibly important. Joseph mentioned, in sales, and that's what this is all about. It's about selling stuff. We need to create an authenticity to build that rapport with our audience. Having AI understand your tone and style, and it can be as simple as going and taking a personality test like Myers-Briggs and giving it your personality style. You'll get 80% of the way there with that one simple tip. So we're tight on time. Guys, go ahead with yours.
Great tip.
Yeah, go on.
Hey, that was a good nugget right there. Taking the test first, and that way you can get that analysis. I like that. But I agree. Definitely train, and little things like when you post on Facebook with AI, and it leaves you, and it gives you this big old paragraph like that. Yeah, it's an awesome paragraph. But who leaves paragraphs like this when they texting, when they put in a post? And then not that, they got a million emojis all through it. Plus, they got the hashtags, and you got hashtags on the comment. Who leaves comments and put a bunch of emojis plus a bunch of hashtags, and it's about this long? So you just instantly telling yourself, so like take the time and say, okay, make this only, 50 words or less, or 100 words or less, no emojis, no hashtags. And then, like you said, if you won't even have to say that if you just train it with how you really talk. I know somebody right now where their marketing is to be real brash. They cuss on every post. They have real like dark humor, like one time he went live on the toilet, you know what I mean? And this is the CEO, I met a company. $1 million company. That's what he's doing. But that's what people know him as. So if he start posting tomorrow and be like, hey guys, how you doing? Lovely day, sunshine, roses. They're going, like, that's not you. Like, who's this guy? You know what I mean? Yeah. So you trained the AI to be like, look, every word I want you to use a cuss word in here. And he literally was telling him this, but guess what? Now when he posts and he uses AI, you can't tell. I can tell just because I know he's using it, but to the naked eye, if I didn't know that, I wouldn't know. I would think that was really him based on him. And he trained it and put a big old paragraph in there. Like, it was like everything about him that you could possibly think of. But the more you do that, the more the AI can now sound like you, to talk like you, post like you, using the same kind of terminologies. Like I say, get money like a boss. So they'd be like, oh, that was Kawan. Yeah. Kawan always say that. I'd say,
I love the fact that we can now stop it, this whole fake it till we make it sort of scenario. And we no longer need to that. It's just be authentic. And apologies to cut you off there. It's just I realize we're over time now. But thank you, Kawan, for sharing. And Joseph, just quickly in 30 seconds, just to wrap up this conversation, what are your insights?
Be you. Be authentically you. Do a live. Make sure that they know it's you. Make it your voice. Use it as a tool, but just automatically be you, because if you're authentic, people be drawn to you. If you're fake, like Kawan and Jonathan and all of us have said, they're going to know. And if you're authentic, you're going to draw your right people. You're going to win. And AI is just a tool to get you there faster.
Yeah, that's it. I was mentored by Ryan Dice and digitalmarketer.com. And one of the big things that I learned from him was human to human interaction. I would even say it's heart to heart interaction is where sales belongs. And AI is just a tool, right? It's not a replacement. It's just a tool. So, guys, thank you very much for jumping onto this panel. I could go with this conversation for another 3 or 4 hours, but we've only got 30 minutes. And, Karen, thank you very much for helping me to co-host this.
My pleasure.
Just quickly, what were any final words or insights there before we wrap up? No, we're all good? Cool. Well, appreciate each and every one of you, and look forward to continuing this social selling journey together. Tom, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to host this panel. And, man, I absolutely love what you're doing with this AI Symposium. Looking forward to our next one coming up in the third quarter.
Thank you all for giving generously of your time and of your knowledge and your experience. The knowledge here and the tidbits and golden nuggets you guys dropped, absolutely amazing. And I'm looking forward to, we have another whole day tomorrow, but immediately following this panel, I emailed Kristen Moore, who I'll bring up here in just a minute. Jonathan Mast and Kristen Moore are going to have the great ethics debate of 2024. And I emailed them. I said, "You better be on your A game." I said, "Ding, ding, 15. Here we go."
This is a big fight.
It is, yeah. And the reason why this next speaker is so important, the debate is so important, is because there's a lot of controversy over the ethics of artificial intelligence. And so I think that if you guys want to share the post and get some engagement, I think this is going to be epic. This is going to be really interesting. Jonathan and Kristen both have expressed viewpoints on ethics I've not heard before, and so it'll be entertaining.